When I wrote JAMB that year, I was able to, by the grace of God, be one of the best students who actually came out with like one of the best scores in my school. And like I've done recent research, and one thing I've realized is that there are 5 main things that these top guys are actually doing, that every single one person who has gotten above 300, above 280, above 260, they are doing. And in this video, I'm going to be telling you those 5 tips. I'm going to be telling you, I'm going to be explaining, I'm going to be giving you examples on how you can be able to actually apply them. And I can assure you that after you've cautiously used these 5 main tips I'm going to be giving you, I can assure you that you're going to be getting that particular goal you want to get for JAMB. And after this video, you're going to go and write that JAMB, and you're going to come out with one of the best results. And if you don't come out with one of the best results, please, then that means that there is something that I have said that you did not do. And this JAMB of a thing, you know, it's not like the other exams. Basically, JAMB is basically a whole lot more different, and most people basically tend to call JAMB an exam of luck, but that's not it. There are things you just have to impute whenever you want to prepare and study for JAMB. That's why in this video I'm going to be telling you the 5 main things that I did in my own preparation for JAMB that worked for me and that gave me 825 in my JAMB. And I can assure you that once you use those 5 main tips, you're going to be coming out with flying colors. So if this is something you like, if this is the kind of videos you like, you want to improve more in your results, you want to improve more in your grades, then please do stick around till the end and let's dive in. So now the first thing is that you have to use past questions. What do I mean by using past questions? Now, I know, so you should go and carry textbook and just start anyhow, or just start using anything for the sake of you want to use past questions. When I say used questions, now take for example, now JAMB is not like WAEC. JAMB is not like your normal internal exams. JAMB is basically almost an exam of luck. What do I mean by that? When you want to use past questions for JAMB, I realized that most of the subjects inside the JAMB textbooks are always topical based. Now let me explain. For example, in chemistry, I realized that all the questions, all the past questions there were like basically in topical format. So let's say, for example, I'm not too strong in a particular topic in chemistry. I can easily just go down to where that particular topic is and study and restudy those particular past questions. This will not only strengthen my brain but also make me stronger in that area in chemistry. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. Now, the next thing is something students also underestimate, and this particular thing is basically the difference between those that actually get 190 and those that actually get 322, and that is time management. What do I mean by that exactly? Now, in JAMB, you basically have 2 hours to answer 4 subjects, of which each subject could have probably 60 questions or 80 questions. Now, what I'm going to suggest to you to do is to start with your English before every other subject, is to start with your English before you start with any other subject. Take for example, your own course combination is English, Maths, Physics and Chemistry. I suggest that like you start with English, so that by the time you're done with English, and also to English has a particular section that has up to 2 or 3 marks for each given question, and that is the word register. You know that particular section in English where they have spaces and then you can like fill up these blank spaces and all. That particular part of English actually carries 2 to 3 marks each. So I suggest that like you actually start with English, then move on to the remaining 3 subjects. And for you guys are going to be doing mathematical subjects in your JAMB, I suggest you actually learn how to use sine, cosine and tangent off heart, like sine 30, cos 30, tan 45, sine 60 and all of that, because you're not going to be using the normal natural display calculator you used to use at home. You're going to basically be using those calculators that only come in plus and minus and division. That is if they even add the division for you guys. So it is best to actually learn how to manage your time consciously. Don't just use past questions like that. Remember to use past questions and set a given time so that you can be able to meet up with that particular time, because most times they will actually trip off your computer even before you're done, or they will end up having problem and maybe the lights go off, or maybe this and that, and we don't want to have any unexpected or like unplanned events during our JAMB exam, do we? So learn how to work with time. Use timers, use a clock, use alarm or whatever, but make sure that for each particular section, for example, if you want to start with English, you want to start with math, you want to start with physics, you want to start with chemistry or government or whatever, make sure that you set a particular time. You can set 30 minutes for each particular subject, so that at the end of that 30 minutes you can be able to move on to the next subject, whether you're done or not. Then at the end of your 4 subjects, you can come back and answer the ones you don't really understand. Then this particular next one I'm going to be giving you guys is very, very important, and every single student has to lay emphasis on this, and I call it PPP. What does that mean? Pray, pray, pray. I cannot overemphasize on this particular point. Prayer, prayer, prayer. God would really, really be happy if we actually involve him in all that we do. And I can see that this particular exam is going to just be a one-time exam, a once in a year something, and like we don't really want to have to write and come back and be blaming ourselves for things that like weren't even our fault. So I highly advise all of us out there to actually incorporate prayer before, during and after our preparation for JAMB. Whenever we want to read, we should always make sure that we pray, because like, and also too, there is something that actually happened to me during my JAMB period, and that was the fact that okay, I get that, okay, I actually got this particular score in JAMB, but like there were people who were actually far much more intelligent than me on like normal grounds. They were doing way better than I was doing in secondary school back then. But like at the end of our JAMB, and like, you know, like my results came out, I actually realized that like I kind of scored far better than they did. And like, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but like I can only say that it was actually the grace of God, because I didn't have any problem in my JAMB. Okay, yes, I get my system turned off a few times, like 3 or 4 times, but like that was it, and like God still did it. But like a lot of them had so many issues, either like in their system went off, or like they took the lights before their own time was up, or like they forgot their own JAMB sleep at home, or like different things. But like I didn't really have too much problems, and I actually came out more successful than a lot of them. And I can never ever say it was actually on my own strength, or rather with my own strength. It has to just be God. It had to just be God. So don't forget God in things like this. Pray constantly. Then finally, without much ado, is our mindset. I don't know who started spreading this rumor that you cannot write JAMB once, you'd have to write it like 3 or 4 times. I wrote JAMB once and I entered into the university almost immediately, and you can too. So please let us change our mindsets in things like this. It is not impossible to write JAMB once. In fact, it is very much possible to actually write JAMB once and clear it once. So write your JAMB once, change your mindset on this particular aspect of your life. If you're a victim of this, change your mindset on this, because it is very possible to write JAMB once. And there's even this scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So if you can have the mindset that okay, all things are possible and that you can do anything, then believe me, all things are going to be possible, definitely. So change your mindset on this particular aspect, and if you can be able to do these 5 main things I've been able to tell you, the first one is to study past questions, the second one is time management, the third one is prayer, the fourth one is your mindset, and the 5th thing I did was to have a mentor. So basically, I don't say you should just go and pick any random person, right? But like, have somebody who you can be kept accountable at any given time. Have somebody who you trust. The person should have also been there maybe like years before you, or something, but like have a mentor, have somebody who would always check up on you to know how you're doing, to know what you're reading, to know what you're studying. Have a mentor. I highly recommend having a mentor. You can have 2, you can have 3, but like I don't say you should go and have half of your settlement as your mentor. You could have a teacher as your mentor, you could have a guide as your mentor, you could just have anybody, but the person should be trustworthy, the person should have been there before, and the person should keep you accountable, because this will actually always keep you on your toes at any given time. So that's basically the 5 main things that I did during my own time, and that I can assure you that if you actually use every single one of them very, very well, within the next 14 days you should be ready for JAMB to score more than 280 and above in your JAMB. So the first thing I'd like you to do is to drop down a comment in the comment section telling me that you're going to start your own plan for preparing for JAMB, and telling me that you're going to start using these tips I dropped here, and you're also going to go and smash that JAMB. And when you come back, I want to also see your testimonies down in the comment section telling me that okay, this is what you wanted to get for JAMB and this is what you got. And I'm going to be really, really happy if I actually see your comments down there. I want to see your testimonies. I want to see how you've been able to actually do it. So that's basically it for this video. If you like this kind of videos, I suggest you actually press the subscribe button and do well to like this video. Thank you so much, guys, and I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye.